Good morning. I am Kevin Price, talking about you and your business on this Monday morning. I hope you're having a great day already. Going to have a great show. I can already tell you that with the guests we have lined up. Every week, my good friend Chris Kidd comes in, does his weekly feature on what's going on in the financial realm, but also some awesome stories about finances as it relates to the business of sports. And there's a business side to everything, especially sports. And so I think today's program looks to be extremely interesting. Chris, as always, welcome to the program. Tell us what you got for us today.
Well, today we have Keion Carpenter. He's a ex-safety in the NFL, played for my brother's favorite team, the Buffalo Bills, and then went on to play with the Atlanta Falcons and has since retired and has founded the Carpenter House, which is a pretty amazing thing that we'll let him tell us about.
Keion, welcome to the program. Kind of tell us a little bit about your NFL career and then tell us about Carpenter House.
Thank you guys, man. Well, my NFL career was a little different. I didn't get drafted coming out of Virginia Tech. Didn't let that discourage me. I worked my tail off. My second year in the league, I got into the starting lineup and, didn't look back. Took advantage of the opportunity that was given to me. I was blessed and fortunate enough to play 8 years, and due to some injuries, had to walk away from the game at the height of my career. But I'm kind of glad because if I didn't, I would still be playing, and I wouldn't be doing some of the great things that I'm doing for my community and things across the world that I'm doing now.
Well, we're glad that you're doing those, and tell us what those are.
The Carpenter House, it was birthed into me about 2005, and it originally was to provide permanent housing and a lot of different other resources for single mothers, single fathers, and low-income families. But then when we went through that little, that crunch in real estate in about 2007, 2008, it would force me to open up some other programs. So basically at the Carpenter House, we take the holistic approach in building healthy homes, providing mentorship for children, providing work and jobs and other resources for parents. We're just trying to build a healthy home, man, and hopes to provide, that be that gateway to these kids and make that pathway to success much easier than mine.
Chris Kidd?
Well, I think it's excuse me, it's definitely a huge thing to, like you said, it's more than providing something for somebody. It's building the person, and I think that is probably the most important thing of what you're doing. And you're from Baltimore, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Now, is that where you grew up as well? Because I know that's where the Carpenter House is, but I know you were with Atlanta for a while. So, what made you decide to pick Baltimore?
Well, Baltimore is a starving city, man, and I was born and raised there. All of my family's there, my friends there, and I was one of those kids that had a dream. I just wanted to, go to college, make it to the NFL, and be able to take care of my family. And so many kids have that dream, but now that the resources are lacking, they're closing all of the rec centers. There's nothing for these kids to do. The pressures of the kids today are far greater than ours. I mean, with social media and all of these things these kids have to deal with, we at the Carpenter House, we just focus on giving the kids the tools so they can navigate through life, with all of the pitfalls that they had to go through and kind of be that bridge for them, man, and kind of be the voice for them because kids don't know how to articulate their feelings, and a lot of them act out and get in trouble because of the situations and circumstances that they're in, and we try to provide that for them so that it can make life that much easier for them.
Yeah, I do want to mention the website is carpenter-house.org. Carpenter-house.org. Chris?
So, and that's with the For My Kids. What is the Shutdown Academy, and how's that play into all that?
Shutdown Academy, it was funny how that came about. One of my good friends and mentors, Deion Sanders, about 3 years ago did a youth tournament in Atlanta where he and Jamal Lewis had kids from Atlanta, from Texas, and kids from all over come to Atlanta to play in a tournament. And I asked Deion, could I bring a team from Baltimore? So he allowed me to do so, and we brought 3 teams, about 200 kids from Baltimore to Atlanta for 5 days. We took them on college visits to Georgia Tech and Clark Atlanta. And, we played in a tournament against Deion Sanders. He brought his team from Texas and some other organizations that were there in Atlanta. It was just a great experience for the kids. And, we just took it a step further. And now we're an after-school program because, we feel like that, we can keep the kids off the street and into a learning, structured environment from 3 to 8. Hopefully, the crime will go down. The kids would have something learning, and structured and fun to do instead of just hanging out on the streets while their mom or their dad or their grandma or their aunt or uncle at work. So that's where we are. We are a full-service after-school program with a sports component, and it's just based upon how I worked at Virginia Tech. We had study hall at first. Had to get all our homework and stuff done, and then we went to practice. The only thing different at Shutdown Academy is we added a mentorship a piece with it, so where we can give these kids, some workshops to be able to handle anger management and things of that nature. So we feel like we like I said, everything that we do, we take the holistic approach. We trying to build students first and athletes second. And, hopefully, they'll get it by the time they get into high school, they'll be college ready and mentally, put them in position to be able to go to college.
Let me ask you, do you see this, first of all, that's just fantastic, and props to you for doing such great work. Do you see this expanding to other cities and states?
Oh, absolutely. Baltimore will be the model. Obviously, we're gonna navigate to Atlanta, and hopefully we're gonna have Shutdown Academy charter school for elementary and middle school kids in every city that the NFL has a team in. Every city is plaguing these type of issues where urban communities and starving cities that are just going through some tough times right now. We feel like we have a blueprint to mentor these kids, educate these kids, and then give these kids an opportunity to play a sport that they love in hopes to get them to college, not to the NFL, because everybody's not going to go there, but there's a college for every kid that we serve.
All right, when he gets warmed up, Chris. We got to wrap it up, unfortunately, but you did a phenomenal job. Thanks for sharing your story with us. Chris, as we wrap it up, by the way, Chris Kidd, that's KIDD.com. That's how you learn more about our contributor here, ChrisKidd.com. Chris, you want to final thoughts to wrap it up?
I think it is extremely amazing what you're doing, and certainly not just to give things to people and to give kids a place to play and to learn and make their lives better, but to build them as people. And if you build a person, then everything else gets better.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And it's about empowering. And so you hit it right on the head, man. We're trying to educate these kids and give them the tools so they can navigate through life. And I believe if we do it that way, we'll have a lot more successful kids and grown-ups, because they will get older in our society.
No question about it, and we want them to grow up to be healthy adults. That's not only good for the kids. This is what's really important for people to realize. This type of thing isn't just good for the kids. It's good for the neighborhoods those kids live in, the cities those kids live in, the country ultimately they live in. Keion, thanks for the great work.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate this opportunity.
You bet. Keion Carpenter. Learn more at carpenter-house.org. Carpenter-house.org. And, of course, Chris Kidd, ChrisKidd.com. Kids spelled with 2 Ds. When we come back, more for you right after this. Stay tuned for more on The Price of Business.